Hi there. Yes, another run. This time we're up at a place called Arthur's Seat, and so my run was probably about half a k from this spot, but this is where the summit is basically. Anyway, I'll talk about the run at the end, as I always do. In the meantime, I'll just walk around a little bit. Yeah, I think I got some good sleep this week after the conference, so actually I think my brain got a bit refreshed, and today's run, it's one of those runs, sometimes when you go out for a run you sort of get into a mental zone, and I think today was one of those sort of days where, you know, you just have all these bright ideas and concepts and thoughts and everything makes sense. Then when you finish the run, often it disappears again. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of those things. So a lot of it is about, in some ways, the analogy is relating how I feel about running to how I feel about lots of other things in life, about, you know, business choices and career choices, etc. So one of this run today was one of those ones where before I got here, I sort of had an idea of where I wanted to run. So I had a predefined journey path that I was going to follow. And when I got here, and one of the things about me is I've got no sense of direction much at all. So sometimes when I do go running, I'm thinking I might be running north, but I might be running south or whatever. So I end up on diversions, and that happened today. And finally I sort of met back up with probably the main path I was aiming for in the first place. But so where I'm going with this, it's a bit like sometimes with career choices and learning and things like that. So sometimes you think you've got a definite path and you start on it, and then you get diverted, and so you go off and you discover lots of interesting things. Some of it may not actually be useful at the time, but useful down the track, and then you come back onto a path again, and then you might find another fork in the track or whatever, and off you go again. So when I relate that to my career, it's sort of been that way a bit, because I started out in a business background, not SAP or anything, and got onto an SAP project, and way back then in that was sort of mid-90s. You know, I was starting to play with web pages and HTML and things like that, and doing things, and they seemed totally separate things at the time. You know, SAP and the web were not even really an idea at the time. And then over the years, everything sort of migrates together, so you end up with technologies converging, knowledge converging, and all these little learnings along the way, which was probably like a little path diversion way back when, now come together and form the main path of your career. And it's been a bit like that with me, with even getting into this training of variant configuration. In the early days, I was just creating little tiny lessons to help me understand how VC worked, and put some of that out on the web. So it's probably out there somewhere, some of that little stuff. And then that also brought together all the web technologies, and it also, you know, obviously brought together SAP into that as well. So and the way the web's going and SAP's going, it's Internet of Things, it's AI, it's all sorts of things that, you know, not so many years ago you would never guess. But yeah, so so that's probably what I was sort of thinking about in those free moments of sort of free thought. Back to other things though. Yes, the conference, the official program has finished. If you're registered, you still have access to the presentations online for I think another 2 weeks now, or another week. And And so that's good if you want to catch up on some of those. The other thing which I'll be releasing later today is another Configurable Opinions. So this is about building an S4HANA transition team. So what you need to think about with that. So that's with Steve Snyder. The other week, if you haven't caught up with it as well, we released one about education with variant configuration and a little bit of what's out there, and we've probably got another one planned on information about variant configuration and where to get that sort of thing. So a little bit happening with that. Today's run, like I said, it's at a place called Arthur's Seat, which is quite a bit south of Melbourne. So for me, it's I think about 30 kilometres from home just to get here, but didn't take too long. So in behind me you see this chairlift. This is a recent reincarnation of an old chairlift that actually fell over, which was not a good thing. And I think it's closed at the moment with COVID, but will probably be reopening soon. So it's up on, well, Australians might call this a mountain, but it's more of a big hill. But over my shoulder you can see out to the bay, so we're reasonably high up. And so I have run here once before, but like I say, I thought I knew what track I was going to take, but I went off onto one of my discovery runs again. But you'll see some kangaroos obviously through this video, which is the first time I've seen kangaroos out on my runs so far. So there's lots of them in this video. So anyway, that's all. I'll close it off. This has been a long talk, so you probably aren't even this far. But anyway, have a good day and have a good weekend. Stay safe, be kind, and we'll catch you later.